Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the newest edition of Flock Talk. I'm John Colavita, joined alongside Nick Marino and Clint Narramore. Guys, really excited to do this. It's about to start a new season of Honkers baseball. Let's just everyone introduce themselves. Clint, you can start.
Clint Narramore. I am the Honkers Assistant GM. This is my second season at the helm of the Assistant GM. Prior to that, I was the official scorer for a year.
Sweet. My name's Nick Marino, junior at the University of Miami. Going to be one of the two broadcasting interns this summer alongside John. And just really excited for all the podcasts we're going to be doing, all the other stuff we're going to be doing on social media. And then, of course, to get out to Rochester this summer and get going with the broadcast as well.
And once again, guys, I'm John Colavita. I'm a junior at Penn State, and the other broadcaster, as Nick said. And we're really excited to get this podcast going because we're going to be, introducing players, getting them ready for their season, maybe talking to some coaches and just getting to know them as, people as well as the guys they are on the field. But let's get started. Clint, tell us your background when it comes to baseball.
Background. Well, I actually started as a broadcaster just like you guys did. I went to broadcast school in 2010. This was a few years after my service in the Marines, and from broadcasting, I just kind of started shifting towards front office because that's where I wanted to be. And I met Jeremy Agard actually in 2015. I had interviewed with him when he was in North Carolina. Didn't get the job, but I made a good business contact. So when I eventually ended up moving to North Carolina, I went to the team that was there, the Fayetteville Swamp Dogs, reintroduced myself to him. He had remembered me from a couple of years prior to that and just said, look, whatever you need this summer, you need me to tear tickets, roll hot dogs, sell nachos. I just want to be a part of the team. Got to be the on-field promotions person that summer. And that was the summer of 2018. Rolling into that off season, I got the opportunity to become his assistant general manager because of my sales background and my love for baseball.
Awesome. That's awesome, Clint. You mentioned your time in the Marines. What was that like, and what kind of perspective did you gain from that experience?
Well, that was long ago, far away, and probably about 60 pounds ago. So the thing that it taught me, honestly, was just discipline and time management. The old Marine adage is if you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. So I like to get everywhere 15 minutes prior to when I'm supposed to be there. I also just pay attention to the littlest of details. And I think that helps out with, in discipline.
What would you say is your most so you mentioned 60 pounds ago, but what was your most impressive physical feat that you could do as a Marine?
When I was 20 years old, and and I'm not even joking, this was probably 3 weeks after my appendix surgery. Don't ever do this, by the way. This is dangerous. I was up for promotion and I needed to get a certain score on my physical fitness test. So I kind of fudged my surgery date so I could take the physical fitness test. And I was still able to do, the requirements are, a 3-mile run, how many ever dead hang pull-ups you can do, and how many ever crunches you can do in 2 minutes. Well, that time I was able to do 100 crunches, which was a top score. I could do it in about 1:20. So I could just do that and have about 40 seconds to just catch my breath while everyone was still doing their crunches and get ready for the dead hang pull-ups. I was able to do 12 and a perfect score was 20, and my 3-mile was 20 minutes and a perfect score was 18.
That's solid. That's all. I ran cross country. 20 minutes is a solid 3-mile time.
Yeah, we had a lieutenant, though. He was doing it in 15 minutes. It didn't matter. He wasn't getting any more points for it, but so that was probably my top physical peak. I peaked at 20. Yay.
That is wildly impressive as a 20-year-old myself. Can't say I'm putting up those type of numbers. But now let's talk about your assistant GM of the Honkers. Like you said, your second year. now coming into your second season, what do you love most about the job, and kind of what does your day-to-day schedule look like as the assistant GM?
Well, it's like I tell everyone who asks, I literally get paid to do my hobby. I love baseball. I can talk about it all the time. I do talk about it all the time. And I get an opportunity to, I don't like to use the word sell. I don't sell tickets. I don't sell sponsorships. I create partnerships and experiences. That's what I like to tell people, because the word sell has such a negative connotation to it sometimes. So, and we don't have, people we sell to. We have our business partners and we have our fans who are the lifeblood of our team. So I want to create an amazing experience, because whether it's your first Honker game or your 200th Honker game, to me, you should have an amazing and new experience every time you come to the ballpark. And that's something that we strive to do. And this year is our 30th anniversary. So this year we want to make it even bigger and better than it's ever been before, because how many summer collegiate teams out there can say that they've hit the 30-year mark and have had the success that the Rochester Honkers have had? Day to day, well, there is no one day-to-day thing. That's the best part about this. You don't get into any tedious assignments, because every day is different. One day I might be looking to improve our flex plans. The next day I might look to see, okay, what themes are we looking to do this summer? What different things can we create this summer that's going to make the fans go, wow, that's cool? And of course, looking to see how we can improve just the overall experience, whether it's improve our menu, whether it's improve the way we take our tickets, whether it's to improve, like we're currently working on now, the way fans are able to purchase their tickets online. Every day it's something completely different. And that's what makes it exciting, because there is no day-to-day checklist. And it's baseball.
America's national pastime. Clint, I know you've told Nick and I some undisclosed things about this season that we can't necessarily talk about yet, but why should fans come out this year? What makes Mayo Field such a great place to watch a game, and what can we expect from Honkers games this season?
So the biggest thing, obviously, we're going to push the 30th anniversary this year. That's going to be the big thing that we're going to push. But the other thing that fans can expect, you're going to be able to see not only good baseball players, but outstanding gentlemen on our team. We're going to have the kids camps again. We're going to have these young men that are in our community, and you never know who is going to be a part of our team and what they're going to do, because, let's go back in time 3 years ago, even before I was with the Honkers in 2020, Robert Moore was a member of this franchise. And last year he got drafted in the second round by the Milwaukee Brewers. It wasn't too long ago that Tony Kemp was here, and now he's, not only has a World Series ring, but now he is in his actually going into his seventh season of Major League Baseball, this year again with the Oakland Athletics. Last year we had two former Honkers make their Major League debut, one with the Minnesota Twins and Mark Contreras, and the other, Miles Mastrobuoni, with the Tampa Bay Rays, and he was on their playoff roster. So they're going to be able to come in and see these young men before they get to that next level, and they're going to be able to come as always and enjoy our food. Our menu is never going to be the exact same. That much I can say. It'll never be the exact same, because we're always looking to tweak it. We are going to enhance our Rochester Chevrolet Sports Deck this year. If you've been out on the Rochester Chevrolet Sports Deck 100 times, I guarantee you have not seen how we're going to do it this year.
I love it. That's so excited. I know we're also excited to get out there. But in terms of on the field, so obviously the goal is winning a championship. But outside of that, what are some other expectations and goals for this year's team on the field?
Well, the biggest goal, obviously, is winning our sixth championship. We are the only team in the league that has 5. We want that 6th one. Our last one came in 2009. That's a given. But more importantly, we want these guys that are on our team to represent our community. We want them to be ambassadors of the organization when they're out, not only in our community, but when they're on the road in Mankato, when they're in Duluth, when they're in Wilmer, when they go across the border to Thunder Bay, because Thunder Bay is back this year. So we'll get to play our neighbors from the north again this year. So the expectation is, obviously, we want them to mature as athletes and get ready for the next level for them. We want all of these guys to get drafted and go on to play professional baseball, but that may not always be the case. I mean, look at Toby Gardenhire. He was a honker back in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Now he's the manager of the St. Paul Saints, the AAA team of the Twins. We want these guys, to whatever their career is going to be, we want to help them get an experience on and off the field that's going to get them to that career.
If you were to give this upcoming season a promotional tagline, what would it be?
Well, the tagline that we started using 2 years ago, fun for the whole flock, we don't want that to change. That doesn't mean that it's going to be anything stale. It's going to be anything that you may be used to, and there's a lot of familiarity that's going to go into that. But I don't think you can put a tagline on one season, because we want it to be, the biggest things for us is affordable family entertainment that you can bring anyone in your family to. You're not going to break the bank, and you're going to have an amazing experience.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And kind of in turn with that, if new Honkers fans are listening, or fans that are going to be visiting in the summer, who haven't been to the city of Rochester before, I know me and John haven't visited Rochester, Minnesota before. Talk a little bit about the city. What does the city in general, outside of the ballpark, have to offer for these fans?
Well, Rochester is growing. I mean, it has become the third largest city in the state of Minnesota. There's a lot of that has to do, obviously, with the Mayo Clinic being here, the number 2 cardiac hospital in the United States, and possibly the world. The Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic, they go back and forth between who's number 1 and who's number 2 all the time. And, for me, I get to smile because, being from Cleveland originally, I have both worlds. But there's a lot of amazing restaurants that are here. There is entertainment that comes to Rochester. There's so much to do, but you don't feel like you get gobbled up like in a major city like a Chicago, like a Minneapolis or St. Paul. You get to come here and experience a small town feel, but there's plenty to do. And did I mention the food is really good here?
That was a selling point for me when you were talking about the position, because food is something huge. But where's your favorite place to eat in Rochester?
Wow, I have a lot of them. There are, we've got the same chains that everyone else has, but you've got places like Brothers Bar and Grill. You've got places like Charlie's Pub and Eatery. There are places like, there's new restaurants opening all the time. So no matter what your taste is, there's something for you. The Canadian Honker is always a great place to go. There's so many different options. We are so lucky that, you can literally try a different kind of food and not repeat for at least a couple of weeks.
As a food fan, as John is as well, sort of looking forward to getting out, having some of that. So we'll do a little spin here off of baseball. This is being recorded on February 1st. First, we've got Super Bowl Sunday coming up next weekend. As John's putting on the Philly hat. You have a pick for the Super Bowl coming up.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I really don't. Being from Cleveland, the Super Bowl is something that a Browns fan always just watches from afar, or the only time we get to the Super Bowl is in Madden. I like the fact, I like the fact that Travis Kelce is from Cleveland. He grew up 10 minutes from where I grew up, and he's a Chief, but his brother plays for the Eagles. So I like Patrick Mahomes, and I know a lot of Twins fans do, because his dad was a Minnesota Twin back in the 90s when Eddie Gordado was here. So I'm going to say I don't have a dog in the fight. I think that the Eagles have got it. I think that they're well coached. I think that they have a good chemistry, and they have very smart people running their offense.
Yeah.
That's
And
smart.
At the same time, you can't sleep on Andy Reid.
That's a smart take.
But I'm going to say Eagles by 7.
That's solid. I don't know. I'm just really excited for this. I think I'm less excited than I was in 2017 for the Eagles, but I think I'm more confident about this game, surprisingly.
Makes sense.
All right, so we're going to switch a little bit of gears now. We're going to get to know the two broadcasters a little bit. But, Nick, you and I were talking before Clint hopped on here. I know you go to Miami. Why'd you pick Miami?
Yeah, so right, like I said, I'm a junior here at Miami, but originally I'm from a small town in Maine, all the way up in the Northeast. So growing up there for 18 years in the frigid winters, as people, as the Rochester people living out there in Minnesota will know, pretty similar.
It's 20 degrees right now.
That's pretty warm for February.
Yeah, that was the high for, it was -2 when I got in my car this morning.
Yeah. So like John is experiencing out at Penn State as well. After that,
today.
yeah, I was pretty done with the winter. So when I was looking at schools, I was looking at one somewhere that had a really strong broadcast program, and somewhere I could go in and get chances to broadcast right away, and 2, anywhere with warm climate. So that's kind of how I settled on Miami, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I mean, you guys are saying, John said it's -4, 20. I think it's 82 and sunny out today. So
John, do you want me to fire him now?
Hey, it's okay. We have a winning football team. It's fine.
Yeah, that's the one thing. It's we're a basketball school now, top 25 in hoops.
Just remember who it was that knocked Miami off of the championship train. It was the Ohio State University.
Don't give me. Come on. Your reign of terror in the Big Ten is over. You have Kyle McCord is a poverty quarterback. Marvin Harrison can't do enough. It's time for the time of Drew Aller, I think.
It's hard to hear Penn State down there in 4th.
I did tell you it was going to be a blowout. I told you Penn State was going to get blown out. I was at the game in the student section when they played Ohio State, and what was it? 2 touchdowns on 4 plays. Oh, that was rough.
Texting me, calling for someone's job during that game.
Yeah, James will never see this. So, James, thanks for the Rose Bowl, though.
I never said who. He read himself.
Yeah, I'll stay out of the conversation as the 5-7 Miami Hurricanes who lost to Middle Tennessee State this year.
Ouch!
Just trying to get back to a bowl game.
Yeah, we lost to Georgia by 1 point, and on a no-call targeting that knocked Marvin Harrison out of the game in the end zone.
Yeah. So John, I guess I'll ask the same question back to you. So you're from Pennsylvania, so obviously Penn State was a logical choice, but what was it about State that attracted you?
So I grew up wanting to go to Syracuse just because Syracuse, obviously, they have the pedigree. And then I toured Penn State my junior year, and I loved it. It was still really cold, but I took a tour of the studio. They told me I'd be able to do things right away, get on the air, call games right away, and it helps with the in-state tuition, which is nice. And my family, as a Penn State tradition, I have 2 aunts and an uncle that went there, and they just talked about how much fun they had. And I'd be lying if I said Trace McSorley didn't have an effect on me wanting to go to Penn State.
He had some.
What is he now, 30?
Hey, he has a song about him, okay? He has a song about him, and I love Trace McSorley. He's my favorite college football player of all time. But Nick, so obviously we're gonna be calling baseball games all summer. What's your baseball background?
Yeah, so I played in high school a little bit, not very well, I'll say. It's kind of why I stuck to the broadcasting side of it. But Here I've got the chance. My WVUM, which is the student radio station here at Miami. I'm actually the sports director of the station now. So we're lucky enough to be the flagship station for Miami Hurricanes baseball, which means we broadcast every single game, home, road. If we end up making it to Omaha, we'll have broadcasters there as well. So I got the chance to broadcast a lot of Miami baseball last year, which was amazing. We got as high as number 2 in the country at one point. We had a 14-game winning streak, ended up kind of sputtering down the stretch and then bowing out in the regionals to Ole Miss, who ended up winning it all. So I guess we can say it's one solace. But yeah, I did.
Yeah, no one was beating that Ole Miss team last year. They were so good.
Well, I was disappointed that Tennessee didn't make it that far. I love watching Ben Joyce pitch.
It was, Ole Miss was the last team to make it in. They were a bubble team and then just got hot at the right time, which I guess is kind of what playoff in college, that's kind of what playoffs are in any sport, I guess, is getting hot at the right time. But yeah, grew up watching baseball all my life. Just love the sport. So yeah, when I got the chance to broadcast it this summer for a team such as Rochester, 5 championships in the Northwoods League, couldn't be more excited to go about it and get out to Rochester this summer. And John, I guess I'll throw it back to you. Your baseball background, and then I'll also add just broadcasting in general. What kind of drew you to becoming trying to become a broadcaster?
So, baseball was kind of my life since the age of 6, and it still kind of is. I like to say that I grew up. I didn't have friends. I had teammates. Baseball was my whole thing. I played for a decent amount of high-level club teams. Some of my close friends are actually like high-profile Division I players. A former teammate of mine is the right fielder for Auburn. I had a couple of Division III looks. I was looking at Ithaca, Scranton, Marywood, and a school called Eastern University in Philly. And I just thought that it wasn't my goal to play baseball in college. It would have been fun, but I think that broadcasting suits me better because clearly I like to talk a lot, and the only thing I know about 2 things. I know everything about movies and TV, and I know everything about sports. So I figured, you know what? What's a job where I can get paid to talk about that? And that's what broadcasting is. And also, growing up, Harry Callis was the voice of the Phillies until I was 6 or 7 years old. But I have vivid memories of him. My dad would oftentimes turn down the TV and turn up the radio and sync the games when he wasn't on TV when he was on radio. So I always thought that was really cool, and just something that I want out of broadcasting. I want a call that people are going to remember, just that is synonymous with a play. Vince Scully has, behind the bag, gets through Buckner. Broadcasters have their trademark play, the trademark call that comes with a play, and I think that's really interesting. But Nick, I want to know what put you on the broadcasting path, and tell us about your prior broadcasting experience.
Yeah, so I guess what put me on the broadcasting path, I guess I couldn't pinpoint one time, but like you, pretty much my entire life is sports. Wake up, check Twitter, check ESPN. Pretty much all I do is watch or read about or talk about sports. And then from a pretty early age, I kind of just fell in love with broadcasting. Just was so intrigued by it, the storytelling aspect of it, the way that you control a game, so you control a listener's experience of a game. Yes, of course, there's the game on the field, but a broadcaster has such a big impact on the viewing / listening experience. So that's something that was really appealing to me, the ability to kind of bring plays to life. Because if there's a broadcaster, I guess we'll use an example. Al Michaels and Tony Dungy on the Chargers-Jaguars playoff game this year, they caught a lot of flack for their lack of enthusiasm in the game. And a lot of fans were complaining that it kind of took away from the viewing experience. But then on the other side, if you have someone who's so enthusiastic about it and showing real passion, I think that really helps bring the game alive. So that's something that I kind of strive for. And then broadcasting experience, like I said, junior now at Miami, sports director of WVUM 90.5 FM, which is the radio station here at Miami. Like I said, we're the flagship of baseball. We're also the flagship station for women's basketball. So I've got the chance to travel a bunch with the women's basketball team. Did the ACC women's tournament last year when they made it all the way to the finals for the first time in program history. I've got ton of chances to do road trips with the baseball team as well. Been to Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Hopefully be able to make it to the men's tournament this year if we make it. So yeah, I've broadcasted probably around 100 games at this point, football, men's, women's basketball, baseball, all that. So yeah, just trying to gain experience. I just love it. Love broadcasting. And I guess I'll throw the same question back to you, John. What's it like broadcasting at Penn State, and what kind of opportunities have you got there too?
I've done most of my broadcasting actually has been summer collegiate baseball. I've done 2 summers calling games. I called games after my freshman year for the Trenton Generals and the Trenton Capitals in the Atlantic Collegiate Baseball League. And then last year I was in the NECBL in Massachusetts calling games for the North Adams Steeplecats, which is right below the Cape. And then a lot of our players went to the Cape from there after the season ended. That was really cool. At Penn State, I've done women's volleyball. I've done women's basketball. I'm going to do men's basketball at some point. This year I had an internship with a local TV station where I got to do State College high school football and high school basketball. And State College high school football is insane. They went 14-1 this year. They lost in the semifinals. And they have a freshman running back, Deontay Sheffy. He's going to be in the NFL. He had rushed for like 1,800 yards this year. He's going to be insane. And I think the most important part of any broadcast is definitely, I think, Clint, I think you agree with this, is definitely telling the audience who the players are as people. You know, you can talk about stats all you want, and they're important to a degree, but I think it's the best parts, my favorite parts of calling a game is just being around the players, getting some like little funny stories, and just telling them on the broadcast. I think that they add a different element, and I think they make the players more relatable. Nick, I think this is the first chance that you're going to have really interacting with the players and getting to know them on a regular basis. Is there anything that you are really looking forward to, being able to just be around so many high-profile athletes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just being a part of the team is going to be just an awesome experience. Just getting to know the guys. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of road trips this summer, a lot of long rides on buses. So just getting to know the dudes, be a part of a team, be a part of a community, like you said, get to know them as players, but also get to know them as people as well. Like Clint was saying, so much of what makes Rochester, the Honkers team, so special. It's not just what they do on the field, but their impact on the community as well, signing autographs, just being a part of the team, getting to know the fans as well. I'm sure the players are too. So I'm just really looking forward to getting out there, just being a part of the team. And I guess I'll kind of throw it back to you, and as we start to kind of wrap up here a little bit, what do you hope to accomplish this year? And I guess that's a question for all three of us, Clint as well. So, and from the broadcasting side, guess kind of a collective question, but what are our goals? Like, what are our goals this year for broadcasting, you think?
Well, my goal for you guys is simple. I would like you guys to represent us as not just the guys that are telling the story, but I want, selfishly, I want you guys to win the Broadcasters of the Year award. I want the Honkers to win Webcasting of the Year award. I want you guys to win those awards, because that means that we have the best broadcasting team, which I already know that. But I want everyone in the league to know, hey, Rochester has the best broadcasting team, and I want us to be the bar on how games are broadcast.
That's exactly what I want. I want to win that award. I want to bring home some hardware. But something else is I want to do things that no one has ever seen before. I want to get different kinds of content, get different people on the air. I mean, again, we can't talk about it yet, but there's so much stuff that is going to be revealed, and I can't wait to just have so much fun just getting all of that content and putting it out there and just getting my name known.
Yeah. I mean, same here. Obviously, winning awards is what it's all about, team-wise, broadcasting-wise. But yeah, I'm just really excited to just connect with the fans. Obviously, for the fans watching, you'll be hearing me and John a lot this summer, which I guess is a good or bad thing, depending on your point of view. But yeah, I'm just excited to connect with fans and just try to bring the game to life for fans as much as possible. That's my main goal, is really just give the fans as good of a viewing experience as they can from the broadcast booth. And then as well, hopefully on the field, we're going to have a great season as well.
So Clint, we're going to head into our final segment. I told you we were going to have something special at the end. So If you look at Clint's bio on in the Honkers website, it says that he can name any World Series winner of all time. We're not going to name World Series winners today, but I'm going to give you 5 questions. I know you're a Cleveland fan. I'm going to give you 5 Cleveland Guardians/Indians history questions. And if you get 4 out of 5, are you a sunflower seeds guy?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get 4 to 5, I have to buy you a pack of sunflower seeds. All right. So first question. Who are the only 2 Cleveland players to win MVP?
I believe one was Earl Averill.
No.
And I don't think it ever happened in my lifetime. So
No, definitely did not happen in your lifetime.
Lou Boudreau and Bob Feller.
Lou Boudreau is correct. Bob Feller is not correct.
Yeah, the other one got me stumped. I mean, Rocky Colavita.
No, that's close though. That's a good guess. I'll give you one more unless you want me to tell you.
Go for it.
Al Rosen, 1953, third baseman.
Al Rosen. Yeah, he was also later go on to be a manager, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. All right.
That was the year before they got swept by the Giants in the 54 series with Willie Mays' catch.
There you go. See, there's where the knowledge comes into play. All right. So, guys, I think the next 4. I think you got. So I'm gonna give you a little hint off the bat. Bob Feller is not an answer to this question. Can you name the 5 Cleveland pitchers to win a Cy Young?
Well, let's see. You had Corey Kluber.
Yes.
Cliff Lee won a Cy Young. I know that CC Sabathia has won a Cy Young. So there's 3. 2008, it was right after CC Sabathia. I believe that might have been the Cliff.
Yeah, that was Cliff Lee. So I'll give you the years. I'll give you the years for the last 2. 1972 and 2020.
2020 was Bieber. I was getting to there eventually.
Yeah.
In 72, let's see, that was 3 years before Eckersley was a rookie. I want to say Sudden Sam McDowell.
No, this guy's a Hall of Famer.
Gaylord Perry.
Yes.
That is correct. Okay. Third question.
Yeah, give him that one.
I'll give him that. Gaylord Perry's correct. Cleveland last won a World Series in 1948. Who was the World Series MVP?
World Series MVP in 48 would have been. He keeps going with individual awards. Let's see. It probably was Lou Boudreau.
It was a trick question. They didn't start awarding World Series MVPs till 1955.
All right. Well, do you know who won the MVP in 1955?
55. Okay.
I'll tell you who won the series. It was the Dodgers.
Okay, then it wasn't Jackie. Was it Pee Wee Reese?
You were breaking up.
Was it Pee Wee Reese?
It was not. This was this guy's only claim to fame. It was a pitcher named Johnny Padres.
I know
who Johnny Padres is. That pisses me off.
Because he won 2 games in that series, including the deciding Game 7.
Wow.
I'm humbled. Okay, final 2. This one I'm confident you're gonna get this one. Who is the all-time leader in stolen bases for Cleveland?
It's got to be Kenny Lofton.
It is.
I mean, I watched him steal 75 bases in 1996.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
That was my favorite. He's my favorite Cleveland player of all time.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right, last one here. This one's hard. Who was the player to be named later in the trade that sent CC Sabathia to the Brewers in 2008?
Well, that trade landed Michael Brantley, and the key person was Matt Laporta. The player to be named later.
You already named him.
Was probably Brantley.
It was Michael Brantley.
Yeah.
Because Michael Brantley was the throw-in, and he didn't come along until a couple of months after that. And he ended up being the best player in that trade because Matt Laporta, great home run hitter in the minor leagues. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat when he was in Cleveland.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, you were close. I mean, you got one of the MVPs, and I kind of stumped you with the World Series MVP.
Yeah, that one was mean. That was a mean
That was-
question for you.
That was
I thought he would know. I don't know. I thought that's something that like he would.
I've never really paid attention to individual awards.
really just the
Yep.
World Series.
Team awards, it's never been about like when, like, I'm a huge NBA fan. I'm a huge Cavalier fan. It was great when LeBron James was winning MVP after MVP in Cleveland, but we weren't winning championships. So who cared?
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's that ring.
Gotta get there. Does the Northwoods League give out rings if they win the championship?
I guess we'll find out in August, won't we?
Ring.
Okay.
All right, well, that's going to do it for here on the latest edition of Flock Talk. I'm John Colavita for Nick Marino and Clint Narramore. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.